Okay, I'm here with Mark Langford. And Mark, you have coached thousands of executives, business owners, folks that are entrepreneurs. Who would you say is your ideal candidate for your service?
Ideal candidate would be somebody who has the pain of having worked in the corporate world for too long and just want to get the hell out.
I see. Okay, so you're looking for folks that are maybe new to the entrepreneur world, transitioning?
I work with a lot of new entrepreneurs, newbies who want to get in and start their own side hustle or get out. I also work with established entrepreneurs, but a lot of people who come to me is I don't have a business idea or I don't know how to get started. So I have all of that to help them out.
Nice. Okay. So let's say somebody's interested. So I have a community, by the way, of 74 people. We just started a few months ago.
Great.
And this is, primarily digital agency owners, right? So they'll use tools, artificial intelligence, website development, integration, helping business owners, typically service-based business owners, getting their digital footprint online, Google reviews, marketing, ads, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But the business side of it is challenging because yes, you may be really good with the technical piece and you do a few courses and you understand that. But then when you start off, it's well, how do I register an LLC? How do I get insurance? How do I do sales? How do I actually talk to people? Right. And so those are the types of challenges that these folks need to solve.
Exactly. Yeah. So my process, I have basically two coaching levels. One is where we are starting out and it's called the Entrepreneurial Transition System. And then the other one's Business Accelerator. Once you're launched, now it's how do you scale?
I see. Okay. So are these courses? Are these live webinars? Are you working with them one-on-one? Can you walk me through some of those?
Yeah. So I usually work one-on-one with folks because that's the best way to get to the issues rather than having some one-size-fits-all exercise. And we set up goals in the beginning and say, this is what I want to accomplish, what I know, what I don't know. And we work through that stuff. So basically, can I share my screen on this? We do 3 phases. 1 to prepare, 2 to do the planning, and 3 to launch. This is the first level of the training, right? So first thing we're going to do is figure out what the skills are. Usually people come in with a lot of different things and ideas and so forth. It's okay, I don't know which skills I want to use. So we figure out what they truly love to do and want to use next. The next is a mindset makeover. Most employees do not have an entrepreneurial mindset. They trade time for money. It's I make, $50 an hour, right? Okay, you need to change that. You need to change into you trading your time for value, right?
That doesn't scale well because it's okay, after 24 hours, what do you do?
Exactly, right? And then there's usually a hangover for folks who come out of corporate because they're I can make $20 an hour more. No, don't think that way. It's if you can make somebody $100,000 more a year, your value is going to be more than $20 an hour kind of thing, right? $1 million. So then we go through a personal financial plan. Just make sure you have the runway to do this, where you might need to cut back just so you have enough time to do this rather than oh crap, I'm running out of money. Yeah. Trust me, I've been there and it's not fun when it's oh my gosh, I got to, eat into savings. And so we make sure that we have everything, our ducks in a row here financially. Then we figure out what the venture is. Some people say, I don't know what I want to do. To that end, I am actually developing a platform right now. It's called the Side Hustle Calculator. I'm going to sell it as a digital product because so many people ask this. They're what should I do? And so basically we take all their skills, their interests, their abilities, their availability, put it into a program and basically spit out, okay, here's your top X amount of side hustles. And within that, here's the niches and here's how you develop the plans and so forth.
Oh, yeah, that's really cool, actually, because a lot of folks need that. They might be able to identify their skill sets to a degree,
right?
And then maybe some interests that they have, hobbies or, previous side hustles that they've done or whatever. And then to give them some kind of a, top 3, hey, pick these, let's run with these, see how they work. And then you can go to your alternate plan and then your alternate plan and then see if one of them sticks.
Exactly. And so I can show you that screen later if you want, but basically I think I have that on the computer somewhere, but still working the bugs out of that so that somebody can just put all their stuff in and actually say, hey, these are the side hustles you should consider and this is the hot markets and so forth and here's how to do the planning. So that's the next part is the business plan. I usually have people do one pager, something on a lean canvas type scale where it's just getting your idea out, right? And a great book to read here is the mom test is is your idea translatable? Can people understand it? One of the biggest mistakes I see people do is I have this great idea and I'm going to build it and build it and it will come kind of mentality. Doesn't usually work. Done multiple times and put it out there and it crickets, right?
Yeah.
And it's you want to make sure there is a market for it, get some maybe pre-qualified leads or get some investment in and so forth like that, so there's actually a market for it. And then we test the concept. We go out there and we talk to people. We do an ask campaign and say, what do you need? What do you want in this thing, right? Get the feedback there so you're building the product right or the service. Then we start building the organization. Again, like you said, how do I incorporate this? Should it be an LLC? Should it S Corp? In some states, there's B Corps where you can register as, which are great. And
what is a B Corp?
A B Corp is a benefit corp. They act like nonprofits, but they're for-profit companies. You recognize some of the names that are B Corps: Ben & Jerry's, Seventh Generation. Whole Foods used to be before Amazon got them.
Whoa, interesting.
States actually recognize this as a legal entity, and even if not, you're allowed to go through the whole certification process and become a B Corp, and then you're sharing knowledge and resources with other B Corps. You get the stamp and everything else, and basically, there are certain hoops you have to jump through, like you have to have a green statement, you have to treat your employees like customers, you have to have a greater good than just making profit or enriching your shareholder.
Very interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So then, we go into an operational stage where we're actually building this thing, and there might be a funding stage where a lot of people are like, oh my God, how would I approach people for money besides friends and families? We go through the pitch decks and the data sheets and so forth, where you're going to hit the angel investors or VC, even private equity, anything like that. So there's that stage. It depends how big you're thinking. And then basically we'll make sure that you have an irresistible offer, right? So basically you follow Alex Hormozy, but he's the guru, right? Yeah. I've got all his books right here. I literally...
Bro Mosey, Bro Mosey, a lot of people call him.
Yeah, Bro Mosey, exactly. And just make sure you have that irresistible offer so that you can launch, right? So that's the first half of it. And then there's more, but what questions do you have?
Man, that's so cool. When I guess I could say when I was growing up, we had John C. Maxwell. He was big into leadership, right? And you could translate that into business and running your teams, which is a lot to do with entrepreneurship. I really see us moving towards Alex's mindset, because he makes a lot of sense, and he's very creative in the way that he approaches sales, right?
Yep. Sorry,
and a lot of it is sort of you build over time and you build those experiences, but when he puts it down in a very simple, straightforward manner, you can practice those pretty easily over and over again, and they work. What I did recently, though, is, all of the books and the material that he did, I went ahead and made it available to my school community as well, so they can kind of start going through those. But what I found is you also need to do what you're doing, which is take that material, but then translate it into a way that makes sense for that particular audience member. Right. They might have their own interests, they might have their own understanding, their skill level, their experience. And so you might need to take it up a notch, or you might need to simplify it a little bit. And so what I do is, from a technical standpoint, one example I did recently was Alex talks about lead generation on your website. It says people enter your website, have some kind of a capture tool so you can grab their leads and then put them onto a drip campaign, email, all that kind of stuff. And so what I did was I actually built out the lead form, and showed people how to do it, integrated into their website. And so it was like a direct carry on to say, this is a concept, now here's the implementation. And then, people like that, and they went ahead and did that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, and execution is everything, as you probably know. You can have a great idea and execute it incorrectly and just get nothing, or you could have a crappy idea and execute well and still make profit.
You bring up a really good point, because sometimes people will go into this listen mode where it's like, oh yeah, that's great. Yeah, really, really agree. That's amazing. But then they won't do anything about it. Or they feel that watching the video is the action that they're supposed to take. And they're like, oh no, I'm consuming so much content. It's amazing. I'm watching all these videos. I wake up early, I get my coffee ready, and then I watch all of this content. Okay, and then what, right? Where are the leads? Are you running through, are you going door knocking? Are you calling people? Are you leaving messages? How many emails did you send today? Those KPIs aren't there to be recorded, So it's at some point, you got to be able to have some purposeful pressure on these folks, right? And to kind of encourage them in a way that they understand. So what do you do with some of those folks that, are into listening mode, but not so much action?
Well, in the coaching, we have accountability exercises. So basically, I have a number of phases that we go through, and there are actually things they have to produce. Like we go through and do these exercises so that there are things to do, right? It's like, okay, this is what you need to do to set up your entity. This is what you need to do to do your website. And even before all of that, it's like, what does the process flow look like in what you're going to offer? Or what does the product look like? Or how are you going to prototype it? I just recently launched a game on Amazon. I had never done a physical product before. Mine has always been services. And it was a huge learning curve. I work with a manufacturer in China, and the language barrier and the time differentials, it was tough, right? I got it out there, and then Amazon became the, let's say, the obstacle.
Yes.
Their backend systems are not the easiest to deal with, and had to learn all of that, right? And so like coaching and this kind of stuff is easy compared to like what you have to do, but to become a doer, you just have to you have to have some guidance and accountability, I think. So that's what I bring to the table with a lot of my folks. Is like, okay, you say you're going to get this done. This is what you're going to do. Here's the strategy how to do that. I'll provide them that, but you have to take the next step before we go into the next coaching session.
I've been setting timelines as well, so I'll try to like elicit a timeline out of them, and there might be like 4 or 5 tasks, and I'll bring it into conversation of like, okay, so how much time do you have available? After your W-2 job, after your family, your requirements, how many hours can you dedicate to this? And it might say something like 2 hours, or if I stay up late, I might get like 2.5 or 3 hours in, or whatever the case is. So we'll extrapolate that and say, okay, well, 2 hours per day gives you 10 hours at the end of the week, which means if you truly dedicate yourself, you should be able to knock out these 5 tasks. Can you do that for me? They'll shake head, like, yes, okay. And then so every single day, it's like, hey, it's Tuesday. You should have done 3 hours. Where are you? Right? Yeah. Wednesday, Thursday. Hey, Friday's a deadline. Show me what you got. Let's jump on a share screen and walk through and like, oh man, I got busy. I can't do this, this and that, and then excuses. So it's kind of fun because I know that feeling on their end where it's like, you think you have enough time, but when you actually start doing it, you realize you don't have enough time. Yeah. There's never enough time. You're always going to run out of time. So it's like, whatever you can do, set a goal for yourself, set a timeline, and then work your butt off, right? And start working towards it, because even if you don't get there at the end of 10 hours, let's say you needed to do 4 or 5 tasks, well, maybe you got 1 task done, maybe you got 2 done. At least that's progress.
Right. Yeah. And I love that, because you're giving accountability, right? And then you're checking back up. Yeah. And that's definitely, and I find, Sonic, behind the procrastination, usually fear. More often. Oh my gosh, I gotta take this. This is becoming real, and it gets scary, when you get down the road. So part of that is also encouragement as well, and say, well, I've been there before. I know what you're feeling. But once you get your first testimonial, or for launch, sell your first product, or whatever else like that, all that stuff starts to go away.
Nice. How much of this are you sensing where the folks that you're coaching, like the coachee, is sort of relying on you for the solution as opposed to being part of the solution themselves? It's kind of like, hey, I have a coach now. I'm good. Mark's going to walk me through this thing. Everything's solved.
Yeah, I am do it with you. I don't do it for you. Yeah. So I can't tell them, I can't give them their stories. I can't give them their skills. They know all that stuff, right? What I bring is the process and the flow, what works, what doesn't work, the missteps to avoid, that kind of stuff, and how to implement all of that. I still need their brain power and everything else, because it's their idea. So that's what we do in the coaching sessions, the one-on-ones. That's why courses don't work as well here. You do get that motivation, you get those insights, you get to ask those little questions that you don't get from a course or a video. So the individual coaching really works really well for that kind of stuff.
Cool. So the folks that are listening, what sets you apart as a coach, and why should they listen to what Mark has to say?
Good question. So I've launched 3 businesses. I started a printing business way back when, and then I had 2 vitamin stores, brick and mortar. That was first foray into that. And this coaching is my 3rd venture, I guess you'd call it. And it's proliferated. I started coaching young male professionals because I was one. It was easy. And then women started to show up, and ethnicities, and older people, and international people. And it just kept growing. And then one day, somebody showed up and said, hey, can you do entrepreneurial coaching? I was like, well, sure, I've done that before. And I just started to put together the exercises and the process flows for that. So I've been doing this for like 12 years, and it's really, at this point, I know where to go to find stuff. AI is making things even faster and easier to do. In the last 2 years, it's been amazing. I've integrated a lot of AI, and I just wrote third book called The AI Empowered Coach, because I realized that I was using AI better than most coaches. So I put that out there. I've got a Harvard MBA. They taught me a thing or two. And like I said, I've worked for 12 years over, 1,000 or so clients and launched a whole bunch of businesses with folks. I have my 3 businesses. And so all of that kind of is that experience is just, it's invaluable, right? Because basically, I can help you save a lot of time and a lot of heartache by taking the right path instead of the wrong path. And so having somebody in your corner to do that at every turn is super, super helpful in launching your business in an accelerated fashion where you can get profitable quickly.
Nice. That's really cool. Okay, that's very impressive. And of course, it helps when you have such good chemistry, right? You're smiling, you both already done it. You're speaking from experience.
Yes.
And, over time, I think that rapport really helps as well, because a coach, just like in any sport, is somebody you would trust, right? The coach says go left, you need to go left because they see a bigger picture. Maybe they have more experience than you, right? They understand how all the other intricacies are going at the same time. They're a little bit wiser than you because they're probably a little bit older and they've made more mistakes than you. And so when they say go left, you just go, right? And then realize that, okay, maybe we still lost the game, but then we can learn from that. But at that exact moment, you're paying this coach essentially to give you their lifelong experience, and based on that, educated answer of what they think you should do. And, sometimes you get it wrong, but sometimes you get it right, and it's phenomenal. And that's why you have a coach to begin with.
Exactly. And to avoid the missteps, and if you do misstep, how to get out of that quickly, because you can literally lose it all by not doing the right things early on. And I know that because, like I told you, the vitamin stores that I had, we had to put them under, right? I made every mistake in the book.
Right. Yeah.
It's like undercapitalized, too much inventory, involved in family. It was like, check. It's like, I know not to do that now, right? And so when somebody starts talking about doing some of those things, like, no, don't do that, right? This is a better way to do it.
Nice. Yeah. So luckily they don't have to spend a ton of money and then learn that mistake. Instead, they can just pay you for your time and then learn the exact solution. You're like a book, with all of the answers. It's just, are you going to be nice enough to share that with people? And if you are, the person reading the book, are they going to take that advice, right? Are they going to heed that advice? Because the answers are there. I used to have a really good mentor, coach type person in the military who was a retired colonel, came back and was working for me, right? And so it was like, man, I just have this open book who used to be higher ranking than my squadron commander, right, at the time, who can just give me all these answers. And I just dug into that. I said, okay, well, what are the next 3 things I should be thinking about to align myself with my boss's priorities? And he's like, go do this, and go do this. And then I would just go do it. And then, I came out with a really good strat, really good report and all that kind of stuff. And to this day, I have a really good relationship with that person. And then also a lot of respect from my boss, who thought I was this amazing person, but really I was just getting the cheat codes, from this retired colonel at the time. So there's a lot of benefit to leveraging experience. And, for those that are thinking hey, I don't need a coach, you absolutely need a coach. Even if it's somebody not like Mark, right? Go find somebody in your circle. It could be a neighbor, right? It could be somebody at your local community. Go talk to them and say, hey, would you be willing to mentor me, right? Watch them for a few days, maybe go play around a golf with them or go on a long walk with them and get to know them as a person, and then ask them, approach them, right? And say things like, when I have a question, when I have a difficult situation, is it okay if I call you, right? Is it okay if I text you? They would love it, first of all. I think everybody would. They'd be like, oh, wow, somebody wants to listen to me? Great. I'll happily share my advice. And then over time, you start getting a little bit more refined and professional. And then when you need a specific problem set, that's when you hire in the big guns, right? The consultants of the world that come in, and you hire somebody like Mark to come solve those problems.
Right. And the return on investment is, like I said, invaluable, right? You might say, well, I could do it myself. Trust me, I've done that. But now I have my own coaches, right? And I have my own mentors and so forth. I drink the Kool-Aid because sometimes you don't know what you don't know. And that could take months and sometimes years to get out of if you think you can do it and you just go down the hard route. I just had a call today with a guy who turned me on to a couple AI apps, and I thought I knew all of them. I know all the apps. I was like, wow, I never heard of those. And sure enough, they're ones that could help me in my coaching business. So mentorship and champions are always mentor.
Nice. So what is the typical process of onboarding somebody, right? Somebody reaches out. First of all, how do they reach out? How are you marketing yourself?
So the entrepreneur stuff, usually I love entrepreneur coaching because I think people change the world by being entrepreneurs. If they just want to change jobs, I do career coaching as well, which is great. Help you find a new role, pivot into something more fulfilling and probably more compensation. But at the end of the day, there's kind of a route to that, right? There's certain things you have to do and how to look different than everybody else and to produce different collateral and so forth, to get noticed and so forth by recruiters. So that's all like easy for me, right? But the challenging part, the fun part is helping an entrepreneur because like there's so many things and so many different elements that they bring into. Wife doesn't want me to do this, or I don't have enough money, or I got approached by this company and they said, do you want to buy a franchise? So there's so many different elements. But at the end of the day, I find that entrepreneurs change the world, right? And so these are the people who are making the iPhones or the next AI app or something else like that that's really going to help humanity, which is really, really cool. So I see myself as a catalyst to helping these people launch things that will actually help other folks. So what was the question again?
Well, you have your website out there. You have their social
website, yes.
How do they reach you? Yes.
Okay. So go to services. I go to entrepreneur coaching. As you can see, I do a lot of different coaching. It's proliferated over the years. And basically, you can come down here and learn more about what I do, or you can schedule a consultation with me right here. So it's c-synergy.com. Navigate to the entrepreneur page. You can see about the process that I use. There's a little video there. Testimonials, frequently asked questions. And so basically you can find me there.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. c-synergy.com. We'll put it in the description. I'll put it across the screen as well when you say it. That way it's very straightforward. And then I think you have some social media as well. What else are you doing to market yourself? You're doing podcasts, obviously.
Doing podcasts. Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. You can actually ask for services via LinkedIn. So you can go out there and find me there. I have my own YouTube channel, of course. Let's see, Instagram, all that kind of good stuff just to market. But generally people find me, it's like if they're looking for an entrepreneur coach, I come up with searches and so forth like that. So,
and then word of mouth too, I'm sure, because you've coached, thousands of people. What are some key highlights or members, coachees from past that stand out that people can maybe relate to or their story? Yeah.
So there's a truck driver, one of my first, oh my gosh, I never saw that coming moments. So he's designing these planters out of metal and stuff like that. He's a welder kind of thing. And he wasn't even aware of social media, right? So we got his stuff on Instagram and he became like an instant hit.
Wow.
And he transitioned into that. So now he is a designer of these metallic planters. And I think he's got other product lines and so forth like that. Just by being aware of the tools and the applications that are out there. And again, that was a long time ago. Now we have all these AI apps and everything else like that. I'm experimenting with cloning myself, my voice, and doing all that kind of stuff. Really crazy stuff that's coming. We could be in multiple places at multiple times. I've created a couple of GPTs that sit on top of books I've written and so forth like that. So I'm trying to stay on the leading edge or even cutting edge of what's going on out there so I can help my folks and my clients to take advantage of those things as well.
Nice. You mentioned this tool that you developed. I think some folks in the industry would call it a wrapper, where you have some kind of an LLM in the background, and then you have this overlay that you mentioned. It inputs your skill sets and then maybe your interests, and then recommends those. Can you talk about that tool a little bit? How did you build it? Yeah. So it's still in development, and I'm using really just Claude AI. There are other no-code apps like Replit and Lovable and that kind of stuff, but I just chose to do Claude. Let me see, can I share my screen again? I'll show you the application. This gets me really excited too, because a lot of things get me excited. The AI part, because I'm into building wrappers and agents and the agent platform itself to build agents on, that sort of stuff. All right. So basically, this is, you put in your information, your skills, your expertise, your financial, how much you make right now, your debt level, stress level, all this kind of stuff, right? And it asks how many hours you have a week, your energy patterns. It asks a lot of different questions about you, right? And your professional background, your network size, your entrepreneurial experience. And then basically you're gonna ask you other questions about like what you want to do in sales and marketing, creative, work environment, so forth. And then you find my perfect side hustle, and it'll spit out
5 at a time with a percentage match of what you put in there. And then you have some sub screens that'll talk about the niches within those specific areas. And then if you want to create a plan, there's another button for that and ask you a bunch of questions. So it create a plan to actually launch a business that way.
Heck yeah. This is so cool. Okay. So here's what I'm thinking, right? Off the top.
Yeah.
You're going to take this is your lead magnet, right? You mentioned earlier that you wanted to sell it. I don't think that's the move. I think you take this, you put it on your website as a way for folks to share their contact info with you. Because when they get an answer and they say like, there's 3 things that I'm supposed to be doing, like I love painting, I love whatever, taking care of elderly folks, and then dog walking or whatever the case is. Right. And then so that's going to naturally tie into the solutions that you already offer on the website. And it's going to say something like, hey, talk to Mark, or hey, you love these 3 ideas, you want to know how to implement them? Schedule a call. And so that first one is just the lead magnet that that's going to get people over there. Yes. And then you sell. Now wait, I think Alex Hermosi said that.
Yeah,
exactly he did. He said, get on the website and don't sell them on anything. Just give them some value. And then once they have the value, that's when you transition into, oh, by the way, I can solve that problem for you as well.
Help you launch that, right. And what I don't have right there that you can see or still implementing is the button that will go to my online calendar, say, schedule a free consultation, on how to launch this plan. Yeah.
That's super easy. Easy.
Yeah.
I'll just send you like the snippet and then you just put it on your website. Done.
Yeah.
And Are you the admin of your own website?
No, I actually have a web developer do that because I unfortunately built it on WordPress, which is difficult.
That's also not. There's this person I have in my community, amazing marketer, really good marketer, but on the technical side, he's not there, right? Yeah. It took me like several conversations just to upgrade his camera, like literally the camera on his laptop. And it's like, it's a USB cable. You plug it in, you throw it up there, you're done. And he's like, no, it's not working. I think I need some duct tape. And I'm like, duct tape? What? What are we doing here? But anyway, he is hell-bent on using this WordPress plugin. And I'm telling him, like, Mark, there's a lot of vulnerabilities with WordPress, first of all. And then whatever plugin you buy, it's gonna be a couple $100 or whatever. That developer may be done. Like, they're not gonna support it anymore. Right? What if they leave and then you need an update? It doesn't work with your WordPress site. Who are you going to call? Like nobody. And so work with the solutions that you do have. Yes. He has high level, go high level. Have you heard of it? It's like a CRM basically. And then he pays $97 a month for it. And, I do tutorials and videos and I'm like, you already have the tool. Just build a website, throw in your blog. You can do anything like this lead magnet. You can have an AI agent. You can integrate with your calendar. You can do all of those things. And the best part is I'm going to help you do it, right? I'll just help you do it. I don't charge anybody either. It's just kind of fun for me because I'm just doing tutorials. So if you have something where you want me to do it, time permitting, of course, what I'll do is basically just build content around it. I'll say, hey, somebody asked me to do this. This is how I would do it. And then I'll just do like a tutorial, throw it on YouTube. And then because I'm working on your solution, you're like the beneficiary of the result, right? You just kind of get the product basically. That's so great. Don't let any kind of like technical stuff hold you back, just go do it. Cause I think that's a phenomenal lead magnet that you have there.
Yeah. And then I'm building some other digital products, probably put them on Gumroad as well and see if anybody buys them there. I've thought about actually creating an app for Apple or something else like that. Always some project on the table.
Yeah. I think is coaching your main product though? It seems like you're pivoting.
So, like I said, I launched that game. It's called Cupid Questions out on Amazon. I do relationship coaching as well, and it's like I created the need in the market for people who just started dating to actually ask good questions rather than, hey, where do you work? What do you do? It's like, so put that game out there. Like I said, the other book came out a couple months ago for the AI empowered coach. I have 2 other books. I'm doing the digital products, consummate entrepreneurs, always working on something. My bread and butter and my true passion is to help, other people either find their ideal role or start their ideal company or venture.
Nice. Do you have a community already built as well? Like people you talk to, website kind of stuff?
I don't do as many webinars as I should in events because I get so consumed by building this stuff. I build, right? And I teach. Those are the 2 things. Having to schedule the webinars and everything else and do the funnel crap and all that. So it's just like, that's good, but I probably should hire a marketer for that.
Oh, I see. I was thinking like, imagine if there was like once a month, you get some kind of a webinar where it's like a dedicated hour, and you'd advertise it on your website. People could just jump in. It's like basically a Zoom call.
Yeah.
And it's you essentially ranting for an hour, right? Like, what are you working on? What use cases have you like, all the problems you had with your coachees, that kind of stuff. And then people get to know your thought process. It's like taking that long walk with the mentor, right?
Yeah.
And then at the end of the webinar, because it's going to be recorded, it's going to be on YouTube, people are going to watch that over and over again. There's going to be thousands of people of just lead generating. And then you're going to have your contact info there. Yeah. Hey, you know what? I kind of like this guy. Like, I like the problems he's going through, and I like how he's solving it, how he's approaching it. Yeah, maybe I will do a consult, with them, and so that kind of becomes a lead magnet as well, and then that generates more followers and subscribers and all that kind of stuff.
No, it's a great idea. Great idea. Yeah. And I heard you mention school as well. I just set up a school site just to test the water.
Oh, did you? Okay, good.
Yeah. And just to do maybe some of the group coaching like that as well, and just have office hours twice a week or something else like that. Like you were mentioning, is like go out there and rant.
Yeah. Ranting is good. I think that's really, really good. And the experience that somebody like you would bring to new entrepreneurs. This is why I want you in my school community, right? Because I got 74 people over there who have the level of experience that maybe you do, right? And so when they hear you on a webinar or explaining certain thought processes, that's going to immediately build and cultivate potential leads for you to go down. And then I'm sure you probably lead with some value, right? You probably give them some ideas like, hey, consider this, or this lead magnet tool that you just came up with. Somebody's on the fence, don't know what to do. Hey, here's a link. Go put yourself through this quiz and then figure out what top 3 things you want to do, and then come back if you want my help.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Good. So you're in. I'll send you an invite.
I'm in. Yeah. I want to be in your school. That'd be great.
Awesome. Good deal, man. That's really, really kind of you to join, first of all, and to spend some time here on the podcast.
Yes.
Any parting shots? I know where people can find you on your website. Any words of wisdom you'd like to share with the community?
Do it today. Don't wait. If not now, then when? That's the question you got to ask, and get focused. One of the things is like, I got to do work. Like you said, I got my family and everything else like that. You got to spend some time every day doing this stuff. Or it will never get done, right? And if you can't do it, then get somebody, like we talked about, an accountability coach, or have a coach that's going to help you launch whatever you want to do. But it's really just taking the first step, or if you feel stuck somewhere, getting that help and that mentorship so you could get past that and really have somebody in your corner the whole time, because there is definitely synergies with working with somebody. And if you haven't worked with a coach before, it is a unique experience. It's fun. It's accelerating. It'll be a catalyst for your life. Like I said, I have my own coaches. They kick my butt, especially when I think I know it all. It's like, oh, I got this. And it's like, oh, I forgot about that, or I haven't even realized that kind of stuff. So yeah.
Love that. Great advice. And I look forward to working with you, sir. Really appreciate your time. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks for being on the show.
Awesome.